This is the Ingraham angle from Washington tonight. The Biden Justice Department is getting so desperate, they've now gone nuclear. The angle will explain in moments. Plus, when FBI agents swept into Mar-a-Lago on Monday, they were met by President Trump's attorney, Christina Bobb. She's here in moments with her response to Merrick Garland and to update us on whether the Trump team will allow the warrant to be unsealed ahead of tomorrow's deadline. But first, spin cycle crash. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, can you imagine what President Xi is thinking right now? How about Putin? Or the terrorists who hope to strike against American interests? This is the America they used to fear?
I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Faithful adherence to the rule of law is the bedrock principle of the Justice Department and of our democracy. Upholding the rule of law means applying the law evenly, without fear or favor. Under my watch, that is precisely what the Justice Department is doing.
Doesn't he look like a guy who just got a lot of wedgies in like 6th grade? I'm sorry. I'm going to be forever grateful to Mitch McConnell for keeping that apparatchik off the court. Today, he said a lot of nothing. He changed no minds about the propriety of this raid, not a single one. Now, what we've witnessed this week, including today's 5 minutes of nothing, is a sham. It's a total embarrassment for America. Now, putting Trump in the vice of the current president's FBI is what you'd expect from Russia's FSB, not a proud constitutional republic. The signal to the world is unmistakable. Our 246-year-old republic is being pulled apart at the seams. So dictators can now say, look, we told you this entire democracy thing was a scam. Turns out their president can try to put his political critics in jail just like we do. Now, our president, who traditionally is known as the leader of the free world, has become a laughingstock. So afraid of his political nemesis that he let it be known to his DOJ goons that they needed to finish off Trump politically for good. Now, remember, as we told you on Monday, it was last spring that Biden's people used their stenographers at the New York Times to pass word on to Garland. They reported that Biden privately complained that he wanted Garland to act more like a prosecutor when it came to Trump on January 6th. Well, message received. Biden and the DOJ have now totally lost control of this narrative. After that dramatic Monday raid, they were positively shocked and stunned to see Republicans closing ranks, something they rarely do, against this unprecedented heavy-handed tactics. A back and forth over documents, the president's team padlocking a storage room at the government's request, and then they show up months later to rummage around for 9 hours? Now, respected figures in the GOP with varied and long political resumes objected strenuously to the type of targeting of Trump that we saw. Everyone from the former vice president to the former director of the CIA and Secretary of State to Senators Marco Rubio and Chuck Grassley. Now, everyone, including Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray, they know that this group isn't necessarily a Trump fan club. For them all to speak out almost in unison is a disaster for the Democrats. So in a perpetual spin cycle, the DOJ is apparently now petitioning that sketchy magistrate, Bruce Reinhart, to release the search warrant and the property receipt. We'll see what we see there when it comes out. But in the absence of actual facts, all we have are a bunch of unverifiable claims popping out about moles inside Mar-a-Lago. Earlier today, it was reporting that perhaps it was a Secret Service agent working on Trump's detail. And then late tonight, the new DOJ information, it looks like they laundered their latest justification through the Washington Post, that FBI agents were scouring Trump's residence in search of nuclear documents. Now, that could mean anything, right? It could be a printout from the Nuclear Regulatory Agency or the Department of Energy. It could be an email, whatever. And if that's the excuse that they want to run with for this raid, how could they possibly justify letting Hillary Clinton off the hook when she was holding documents that were classified at the highest levels? So I guess we're supposed to believe that established the probable cause that was necessary for the search warrant, this nuclear deal? Just like we're supposed to believe that Merrick Garland hadn't approved of the raid at all. Remember, they tried to spin that. That was the lie that they spread last night in Newsweek. Try to keep up with me here. Oh, sorry, gentlemen, but given your history with President Trump and the American people, you're going to have to do better than just trust us. We believe in the rule of law. The fact that our CIA, our FBI, and our DOJ have lost most of their credibility, let me tell you, it's not Fox News' fault. It's not the fault of Trump or his supporters. They didn't create Garland's problem or Comey's problem or Wray's problem or Andrew McKay's problem. They've all brought this on themselves. So no matter what Garland or Wray may say, it's not normal to weaponize the entire power of the federal government against one individual. In this case, trying to find any technical charge they can to bring against President Trump. All, of course, just months before he'll likely announce another White House run. How convenient. How will the Democrats react, let's say, if the next Republican president pulled these same tactics to dig into, let's say, Kamala Harris's life or Gavin Newsom's life? Well, we all know the answer, right? They'd cry foul and claim that that president and his DOJ was subverting democracy. So the standard going forward has to be that administrations will only pursue legally their opponent when it's a really big bleeping deal. No dragnets, no fishing expeditions, no pretextual searches, no desperate trolling for moles. Some or all of this may have happened here. The chants of lock her up, remember those during all the Trump rallies in 2016? They were just that. They were chants. Chants designed to mock Hillary and the sycophantic press that covered for her. Trump and millions of his supporters were furious that Mrs. Clinton seemed to use her office to advance her husband's foundation. Yet even when they believed all that, did Trump, after he was elected, send FBI agents to her house? Of course not. Because his focus was on making our country better, more prosperous. But now we have an administration that's decided to go to war against all of us. They have unlimited government resources at their disposal, and they're deploying them against Trump, and they're about to hire 87,000 new IRS agents to deploy against anyone who questions them. Well, I have news for them. The Constitution gets to say who runs for president, not Merrick Garland. Hunting Trump will only hurt them. Now, at a time when our families are facing such daunting challenges, it just makes you want to burst out in tears. Where's Biden's focus and passion? It's not on fixing any of this. It's on grabbing as much power from the regular people as he can. Do they care that wages really aren't keeping up with inflation? Not even close? Which means that our people are getting poorer every week and every month? No, they don't care about that. They just spin fairy tales.
Zero inflation last month, but people are still hurting. But zero inflation last month.
That last month, our economy had 0% inflation. In July, we saw a drop in gas prices and a range of other goods like clothing and airfares and household appliances, which means more money in the pockets of working families.
Our goal, and we think it is absolutely possible, is to have this economy transition.
Spin cycle, crash. Americans don't trust the government because they're bad people. We don't trust the government because they aren't proving worthy of our trust. Stop treating Americans from the other party with suspicion. Stop pretending that you believe in borders and start enforcing them. Stop lying about the true state of our economy. You just heard it. And stop wish-casting about what's happening in Ukraine. Stop lying about the innate character of America. Our system is not racist. You are. And finally, announce publicly that you're dropping all of this legal harassment of President Trump. And then, President Biden, go before the cameras and tell our country that any disputes between you and Trump are going to be decided by the voters in 2024. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.